Can you name the NFL married couple with the most Super Bowl wins? Of course you can. Are you ready to have your mind blown with a Tom Brady stat? The 43-year-old quarterback has won more Super Bowl titles than any single NFL franchise with Gisele. Without Gisele, Tom had the worst season in his 23 years. Tom and the Tampa Bay Bucks finished the season with a 8-9 record, after losing the last game of Tom's career by a score of 31-14. To the Dallas Cowboys. I find it interesting that on all the network morning talk shows none of the talking heads mention this fact. The role that Gisele played in helping Tom become a 7-time Super Bowl champion. They all talked around the subject. Without Gisele in the picture, Tom had the worst season in his NFL career. After seeing Gisele's Instagram posts, and reading about her upcoming article in Vanity Fair, I think Gisele played a big role in Tom's success. I believe she left the marriage because she wanted a life without football. After listening to Gisele's and Tom's audiobook samplers on Amazon and viewing Gisele's Instagram photos and comments, I think Gisele had had it with football life. Tom was determined to play football as long as he could, and Gisele gave him an ultimatum. Tom's last season without Gisele went nowhere. You will be able to listen to both audiobook samplers. Comment, tell us what you think about Gisele's being Tom's secret weapon at home that enabled him to dominate the NFL for 22 years. Gisele was Tom's lesson coach at home. Gisele is set to break her silence on her divorce from Tom in a Vanity Fair cover story in April or later this summer. Enjoy the audiobook samplers.
Discipline is a hard word to love, especially when we're young. Can't I put off thinking about that for a few more years? It's a word that sounds like it belongs in the military or a boarding school, or on a list of rules and regulations that keep us from doing what we want to do. Discipline can sometimes seem like the enemy of fun or happiness, a grown-up plot designed to drown out joy and inspiration. It's really not that at all. Discipline is also more than just hard work, but that's where the process starts. Ever since I can remember, I have been extremely organized and hardworking, whether I was helping my sisters clean the house, playing sports, doing well in school, modeling, or even today, being a wife and working mother. Which is why I feel such a strong connection with this first lesson. It all starts with discipline. I believe that whatever success I've achieved in my life is the result of focus, hard work, dedication, being on time, doing what is necessary, what was asked of me, and always giving 100% to everything I did. And I still approach my life this way. In other words, discipline. In our house, discipline mattered. With 6 children, all girls chattering away at the same time, it was a necessity. My mom, for one, was always running around, working as hard as she could to take care of all of us. Every morning at 6 a.m., she woke up and made us breakfast shakes using avocados or bananas or apples that she mixed with milk and a little bit of sugar. Or sometimes she made us tojadas, which are sandwiches with melted cheese inside. Afterward, she or my dad would drop us off at school, and my mom would go to work, coming back home at noontime so we could all eat lunch together. On weekends, she got up even earlier to wash our clothes and to make and freeze meals for the week ahead. With 8 people sharing 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, my sisters and I understood early on that we were expected to help out. Each of us was given a cleaning assignment before we were allowed to go outside and play. When Haki or Fofa rang the bell, it was off to our stations. I was usually in charge of cleaning the bathroom, and often I spent a long time scrubbing between the tiles with a toothbrush until you could have eaten a meal off the floor. To be comfortable, I've always needed my living spaces to be clean and organized. If my surroundings are messy, I can't even think properly. My sisters and I also each served as the unofficial mom for the sister just below us in age. At age 8, I remembered changing my sister Fafi's diapers, and then helping my older sisters fry up empanadas in the kitchen that we'd helped our mom make from scratch. Dough folded and sealed over fillings like chicken, beef, or cheese and spinach. Good girl, my parents used to tell us whenever my sisters and I did something well. When we were polite, when we did what we were asked, when we worked hard, got good grades, or played a good volleyball game. But even when things didn't go according to plan, my mom and dad always made us feel we'd done the best we could if we applied ourselves and worked hard. Good girl was a big compliment. It always made me feel proud of the effort I'd put in. Whether I was scrubbing bathroom tiles, studying hard to do well in school, or playing sports, I always brought an intense focus and motivation to everything I did. At age 10, when I started playing volleyball, I told myself that to get good at it, I needed to practice at least 2 hours a day. I decided I would train as hard as possible to make the team, and maybe the team one grade above mine. The way I approached schoolwork was no different. If I wasn't strong in a subject, I would stay up all night studying if necessary until I got an A. Discipline was never a faraway idea or something I'd grow into later in life. It was always a part of me. Doing my best, making my parents proud, not letting anybody down. If I wanted to succeed at something, I wouldn't just envision what I wanted, or wait for it to show up, or expect someone to hand it to me. I knew I had to do the work to make it happen. Even if I was scared and it felt impossible, I always gave 100% of my effort, because if I gave anything less than my best, I knew I'd get upset with myself. Yet underlying my sense of discipline was the strong feeling that whatever it was I set out to accomplish, I could do it if I worked hard enough. Even when I was afraid, I never felt defeated. I felt challenged. As time went on, I became more disciplined, probably because I could see direct results. At age 14, when I left my hometown and family to move to São Paulo to pursue a career in modeling, I was determined. I told myself, I'm not going to go back home empty-handed. I'm not going to disappoint my parents and my sisters. I'm going to work as hard as I can and do what I have to do, even if that means working all day and all night. Without discipline, I might have taken the next bus home. The work could be intense, and I missed my family. Often I was lonely, but I stayed in São Paulo and kept at it. One opportunity appeared, followed by another and then another. I kept pushing myself.
That's the end of the sampler. Next up, Tom Brady's TB12. Find the link to both audiobooks in the description to listen free to the complete audiobooks.
Standard for my game. My ability to sustain my peak performance over the last 10 years came from rethinking how to train, and specifically, how to train with pliability. I now realize that this is something that can help not only elite athletes, but anyone and everyone who's willing to commit to living a life of wellness and vitality. Casual athletes, weekend warriors, yoga practitioners, marathon runners, anyone. In this book, I'll be sharing the principles that have allowed me to sustain peak performance and showing you how to apply them to your own daily life. I also believe the TB12 method can inspire a movement that radically reforms the way we train and helps us live a more natural, holistic, healthy lifestyle while lowering our risk of injury, increasing our vitality, and taking our performance to the next level. As such, I'm writing this book in the hope that my experiences and discoveries can resonate with everyone and allow them to achieve beyond what they can even envision for themselves. As far as pliability is concerned, an ounce of prevention really is worth a pound of cure. What is pliability? I'll go into it in more detail later in this book, but for now, and briefly, Alex and I define pliability training as targeted, deep force muscle work that lengthens and softens muscles at the same time those muscles are rhythmically contracted and relaxed. This happens in sessions that take place both before and after any sport or activity, in my case, football. Regular pliability training, coupled with the right holistic routine to maintain that pliability, conditions our brains and bodies, and therefore our muscles, to maintain the same lengthened, softened, primed state as they carry out whatever activity we're asking them to do, from carrying a baby to lifting luggage, to climbing stairs, to getting out of a chair, to playing pro sports. But pliability is also bigger than that. To me, and within the TB12 method, pliability is the missing leg of the traditional strength and conditioning model of aerobic activity and lifting weights. Of course, it goes without saying that we all need strength and conditioning, enough strength to do the job we need to do, including the acts of daily living, and enough endurance to do it over a desired time frame. But by incorporating pliability training into your workout regimen, you'll be able to sustain your own peak performance in ways that minimize the risk of injury. If an injury happens, pliability training will put you on a faster road to recovery. We'll discuss specific methods of practicing pliability in a later chapter. So why this book, and why now? Well, most people don't realize it, but the typical training and lifestyle regimens come up short. For so many athletes, it looks like this: work out, compete hard, get injured, visit the doctor, do physical therapy, possible surgery, back to rehab, compete hard again, get injured again, back to the doctor, more rehab, repeat, repeat, repeat. That's the vicious cycle of sports training, which takes place far too often, is talked about all too little, and has been around since before I was in high school. But it doesn't have to be that way. We all need to become active participants in our own health. With this book, I want to establish a new model of training for sustaining peak performance and optimal living over the long term. The TB12 method is both a regimen and a way of life that has allowed me to play football at a high level over the course of my career, and also to live a vital, energetic life off the field. Over the years, like many athletes, I've read a lot of books about sports, health, wellness, and longevity. Most offer conflicting information, and to my mind, a lot of them come up short. Put simply, they're confusing. Even I get confused. That's why I want to write a new athlete's Bible for anyone committed to a lifetime of peak performance, whether you're a professional, an amateur, or a man or a woman of any age who wants to stay healthy and vital. My hope is that the TB12 method will revolutionize the age-old sports and conditioning model that statistics tell us over and over again is incomplete. With this book, I'm on a mission to inspire coaches, parents, trainers, athletes, and anyone who wants to lead a healthier lifestyle to consider how pliability training and the commitment to a holistic and disciplined lifestyle will lead to a more enjoyable life that allows them to achieve any goal they set for themselves. Nothing would give me more joy than to pass on what I've learned during my life and career.
I hope you have enjoyed the audio samples by Gisele and Tom.